What if the exhaustion, the brain fog, and the feeling that your body is slowly declining isn't about getting older at all? What if it's something happening silently inside your cells that no standard blood test ever catches? And the fix? It might already be sitting in your kitchen. For decades, doctors told us that the physical and mental decline that comes with age was just inevitable. That after 60, your body simply starts to give out. But the latest science is telling a completely different story. The real reason you crash every afternoon, the reason your brain feels foggy by 3 p.m., the reason your muscles feel weaker than they used to. It's not about willpower, and it's not about laziness. It's a hidden power failure happening inside every single cell in your body. Your mitochondria, the tiny structures that generate around 90% of your body's energy, are failing. The decline starts in your 30s, and by the time most people reach their 60s, they've lost somewhere between 30 and 50% of their mitochondrial function. You're not running low on motivation, you're running low on energy at the cellular level. What most health content skips right over is this. Your body can literally grow new mitochondria from scratch. It's called mitochondrial biogenesis, and today, I'm going to show you the 7 foods that act as the biological switch to turn it on. Think of your mitochondria like tiny batteries inside your cells. When they're fresh and healthy, they deliver a bright, powerful charge. But as they age and wear out, your light starts to dim, and your whole body starts running like a golf cart with a dying battery. For a long time, scientists thought this was permanent damage, but then they found something extraordinary. There's a molecule in your body called PGC1 alpha. It's known as the master regulator of mitochondrial biogenesis, and when you activate it, it literally signals your DNA to start building new power plants from scratch. But there's a second piece to this. You also need something called mitophagy. Think of it like a mechanic who walks through your engine, spots every part that's broken or past its best, and removes them before they cause bigger problems. It clears out the old, worn-down mitochondria so the new, healthy ones actually have room to take over. The 7 foods I'm about to show you are the most powerful biological signals ever discovered for activating both of these processes at the same time. 1. Pomegranates and walnuts, the recyclers. This is your cellular cleanup crew. Pomegranates and walnuts contain natural compounds called elagitannins, and when you eat them, your gut bacteria convert these into something remarkable, a substance called urolithin A. Think of urolithin A as the person who reaches into your flashlight, pulls out every dead battery, and throws them in the bin. In a clinical trial led by a professor at EPFL, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, sedentary adults aged 40 to 65 took urolithin A for just 4 months with no changes to their exercise routine. Their muscle strength increased by 12%. Their walking endurance improved by 33 meters on the 6-minute walk test. And their markers of mitochondrial efficiency improved significantly. 2. Natto, the spark plug. If there's a gold medal for mitochondrial foods, it goes to natto, fermented soybeans that are a staple in Japan. This unassuming food is one of the richest dietary sources of a compound called PQQ, pyrroloquinoline quinone. Cell studies have shown that PQQ can trigger the creation of new mitochondria by activating our master switch, PGC1 alpha. And a 6-week human trial found that PQQ supplementation significantly elevated PGC1 alpha protein levels, a direct marker of mitochondrial biogenesis happening inside the body. It's worth noting that most of the dramatic numbers you'll see floating around online about PQQ come from cell or animal studies, not human trials. The human research is still early, but the mechanism is solid and the direction is promising. 3. Fatty fish, the membrane builders. Wild-caught salmon, mackerel, and sardines are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. But here's what most people don't know. These aren't just heart-healthy fats. They get incorporated directly into the membranes of your mitochondria, making them more fluid, more flexible, and more efficient. Research shows that omega-3s activate a receptor called PPAR-gamma, which works alongside our master switch, PGC1 alpha, to drive the creation of new mitochondria. In adults over 60, eating just 3 servings of fatty fish a week increased mitochondrial enzyme activity by 31% and improved muscle strength by 14%. 4. Blueberries and purple sweet potato, the energy sensors. The deep blue and purple colors in these foods come from compounds called anthocyanins, and these pigments activate AMPK, your body's internal energy sensor. When AMPK switches on, it sends one signal: we need more power. Build more power plants. Purple sweet potatoes are one of the most concentrated whole food sources of anthocyanins you can eat, with levels comparable to or higher than blueberries and blackberries. Their anthocyanins are also unusually stable through digestion, meaning more reach your cells intact. Aim for 1 to 2 servings of anthocyanin-rich foods daily. Blueberries, purple sweet potatoes, red cabbage, and black rice all count. 5. Spinach and beets, the leak stoppers. Dark leafy greens and beets are packed with dietary nitrates. In your body, these convert into nitric oxide, a signaling molecule that tells your mitochondria to stop leaking energy. In a study published in Cell Metabolism, researchers at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden gave healthy volunteers the nitrate equivalent of a plate of spinach or 2 to 3 beetroots a day for just 3 days. The result? Their mitochondria became measurably more efficient, producing more energy while consuming less oxygen. The same amount of work with less fuel burned. Pro tip: never use antibacterial mouthwash right after eating these. It kills the oral bacteria that activate the nitrates, and you lose 60% of the benefit. 6. Dark chocolate, the volume booster. Good news! Cacao with 70% cocoa or higher contains a compound called epicatechin. In a pilot study by Dr. Pam Taub at UC San Diego, participants consumed around 100 milligrams of epicatechin daily for 3 months and showed significant improvements in mitochondrial structure and elevated PGC1 alpha levels. A follow-up study of 20 sedentary adults consuming just 20 grams of dark chocolate daily showed measurable increases in VO2 max and significant increases in both PGC1 alpha and AMPK. Small studies, but the mechanism is well established across multiple research groups. Pro tip: opt for raw cacao nibs or 70% plus dark chocolate with minimal processing to preserve the epicatechin content. 7. Soybeans, the insulin tuner. Soybeans contain a group of polyphenols called isoflavones, the most studied being genistein. Multiple clinical trials have found that regular consumption of whole soy foods improves insulin sensitivity and reduces markers of insulin resistance, helping the mitochondria burn fat more efficiently. Fermented soy products like natto and tempeh have higher concentrations of the active form, making them the better choice over processed soy products. One important warning: over 90% of soybeans grown in the U.S. are genetically modified. Look specifically for organic or non-GMO certified whole soy products. The compounds you need are in the whole bean, not processed soy oil or isolates. The mitochondrial breakers. Fast food containers, plastic water bottles. You can't fill a bucket that's full of holes. So while you're adding these 7 foods, you also need to remove the things actively destroying your mitochondria. Seed oils. Excess linoleic acid from processed seed oils builds up inside your mitochondrial membranes and causes proton leaks. Your cellular batteries literally hemorrhage energy. The main culprits? Canola, known as rapeseed in the UK, corn, soybean, sunflower, safflower, cottonseed, and grapeseed oil. Most are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Sunflower sits at a 91-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Safflower hits 125-to-1. Corn, around 50-to-1. Our ancestors evolved on a ratio closer to 1-to-1. Think of omega-6 and omega-3 as 2 teams in a tug-of-war. Omega-6 switches inflammation on, useful short-term for fighting infection and healing. Omega-3 switches it back off. Flood your body with omega-6 and barely any omega-3, and the off switch never gets pulled. That low-grade inflammation quietly damages your cells, your blood vessels, and your mitochondria. The best sources of omega-3 are oily fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring. For plant-based options, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds contain ALA omega-3, though only a small amount converts to the active EPA and DHA forms. If you don't eat fish, algae-based omega-3 is your best alternative. Pro tip: seed oils are hiding in almost every packaged food. Crisps, dressings, nut butters, protein bars, condiments. If the label just says vegetable oil, assume it's soybean or corn. Processed sugar. Refined sugar throws the bacteria in your gut completely out of balance. Think of your gut like a garden. You want a rich mix of healthy plants keeping the weeds under control. Dysbiosis is what happens when the weeds take over. And when that happens, your gut lining becomes leaky. Toxins slip into your bloodstream, and your immune system fires up an inflammatory response that ripples all the way down to your cells, signaling your body to lock down energy production entirely. Environmental toxins. Microplastics from plastic water bottles and chemicals from new carpets and cleaning products create oxidative stress that chips away at your cells like wire cutters. Poor sleep. This one is critical. Your mitochondria do the majority of their repair and regeneration work during deep sleep. Just one bad night can halt your cellular rebuilding program entirely. The dimming battery icon from the opening, now fully green and glowing. Here's what this all means for you. Your cellular health is not set in stone. Whether you're 40 or 80, your body is waiting for the right signal to start rebuilding. Start with just one of these foods this week. Research shows that consistent dietary changes, combining polyphenols and whole foods, can begin to shift mitochondrial markers within weeks. One randomized trial found that a polyphenol-rich, plant-based protocol reduced participants' biological age by an average of 4.6 years in just 8 weeks. That's not a decade, but it's real, it's measurable, and it's exactly the kind of result that comes from the foods we've covered today. You've got the information now. The rest is just habit. Start with one food this week. See how you feel, and build from there. If this was useful, a like helps more people find it. Drop a comment with which food you're trying first. Hit subscribe while you're here. We break down what actually matters for your health, without the hype. See you in the next video.